Who do you love and who loves you? Hello, Canberra, and welcome to the Four Takes Movie Podcast. My name's Martin.
I'm Adam.
I'm Luke.
And I'm David.
Today we're going to be talking about the 1987 movie The Running Man, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. But first, as we always do, let's talk about our week so far. What have you seen, lads?
The Running Man.
I've seen The Running Man and that's it.
I just started a new series of The Morning Show, which is really quite good on Apple TV.
I haven't seen it yet. I haven't started watching any of the morning shows yet.
It is quite...
Is The Morning Show the one with thingy from Friends?
Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they produce that, don't they?
I'll take your word for it.
I believe Reese Witherspoon runs her own production company, so I think she's probably got a good hand in it.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I did the other night. In preparation for the new Tron movie, I watched Tron, the first Tron.
Oh, was it? It was a disaster, the first Tron movie.
The first Tron movie is all visual, and there's almost no story in it. It's the acting is not great either.
No, it obviously had some following because it still circulates today as an option.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It hasn't been swept under the carpet completely.
It was because it was cutting edge visuals at the time.
Well,
Everyone's like, this was amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's all visuals over substance.
What was the Tron remake they did with Olivia Wilde called?
Well, it was a sequel. It was Tron Legacy.
Tron Legacy. See, that had amazing visuals also, but the music was even better.
Well, they really leaned into like the soundtrack on that movie as well. But still, it didn't have the best of stories, I think.
Yeah, it still had no story.
Yeah.
They were just terrible.
Well, now that you mention it, this is movie adjacent. The soundtrack for Tron Ares came out, the 9 Inch Nails soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I listened to that, and it was tremendous. It was really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Has 9 Inch Nails done another movie? I know Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor has. Mm-hmm. They've sort of moved away, I think, from studio music to doing movie soundtracks for quite a while.
Yeah, they did Disney Soul. Pixar
yes, they
Soul.
did, yeah.
Yeah, they got an Oscar for that.
They'll do Gone Girl as well.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They've done quite a few films together now, and is there one about tennis they've done?
Or Challenges.
I think
Was that them?
I think it might have been, yeah. As a soundtrack producing duos, producing scores and things like that, I mean, they're absolutely smashing it because it seems like every film they do either does exceptionally well or wins awards, and there's nothing that they haven't done a duff. So, and I think the Tron soundtrack is going to be an award winner. And the main track, As Alive As You Need Me to Be, it's got them the first UK number one.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
About time.
Yeah. 9 Inch Nails are top of the pops.
Actually, one more thing, and it kind of segues into the movie we're about to talk about. Mm-hmm. I watched a film at the cinema called The Long Walk by the same writer as The Running Man. Because obviously The Running Man is based on a book, which we'll talk about in a moment.
It's Stephen King, isn't it?
No, it's Richard.
You've ruined it, mate.
It's Richard Bachman.
Richard Bachman.
What? Who's he?
We'll talk about it in a moment.
I thought Stephen King did The Running Man.
Right, listen, we're going to talk about it in a moment.
No, I want to know now.
So Richard Bachman wrote The Long Walk and he wrote The Running Man as well as a few other books.
And that's all you need to know, David.
That's all you're getting.
But we might as well talk about it now. You've ruined it. So Richard Bachman was a pen name for Stephen King.
So Stephen King did write it?
Stephen King did write it as Richard Bachman. Because
so Stephen King wrote it.
Because shut up. Because he felt at the time he was saturating the market too much. From what I understand, he felt like he was saturating the market too much with Stephen King books. He started writing under a second name. But The Long Walk,
yes,
well worth a watch that. It basically, the story is dystopian future. Mm-hmm. The economy's gone to shit. Mm-hmm. So they have this game where people volunteer for it, where they'll do this walk. I think in the book it's 100 people, but in the movie it's 50, representing the 50 states of the United States. Mm-hmm. And they basically just have to start walking. They have to maintain a particular pace. If they slow down, they'll get a warning, 2 warnings, 3 warnings, and then they get shot. Or, as they say, they'll get their ticket. And the last one walking wins the money. And that's what the film is. Now, it doesn't sound like much of a story, but I tell you what, it's a good movie and well acted. There's some good performances in this, considering the entire movie is they are just walking along.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like people getting their 3 warnings and then getting their ticket punched, they do not shy away from what's happening. Like, and some of these people are like kids as well, and they're being popped in the head, and does not shy away at all.
Do you know? Did you see the film Doctor Sleep, based on the Stephen King book?
Better than The Shining, I thought.
Well, that film, the what's the name of it? She was in that Apple program about
Rebecca Ferguson. Silo.
She's fantastic. She's lovely. And anyway, she plays the Doctor Sleep, doesn't she?
Yes.
And there's a bit in that where the vampires ate this kid, and it's one of the most horrible things I've ever seen on.
Yeah, they torture that poor kid, and that kid's screaming for a good long time on screen.
Yeah, and Rebecca Ferguson had said this kid was such a good actor. She had to stop and go off and like cry halfway through the scene because what he was doing was so believable. And if you see it's horrible. Like but that's,
I don't like scary movies. I'm not going to watch it.
I don't like scary films either.
Solid movie, the Doctor Sleep though.
So is that like another dystopian film? Or
No, that's a sequel to The Shining.
Oh, right.
Did Stephen King write that?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the one with
Ewan McGregor.
Ewan McGregor and I. Cool.
I think it's a better. Personally, I like The Shining. It's fine. A controversial decision. I think it's fine, but I think Doctor Sleep was.
Stephen King didn't like it. Who didn't like the movie anyway?
I think it's a really well-made movie, Doctor Sleep.
Incidentally, as well, Stephen King didn't like this film as well because it's
there's nothing like the bloody book.
It bears no resemblance.
Man. And Stephen King has just went nuts the last 20 years. He's disappeared up his own ass. He hasn't wrote a good story since he stopped doing drugs.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, Doctor Sleep was a good
controversial decision. But opinion, sorry.
But he didn't like this. He didn't like The Running Man, the Arnold Schwarzenegger film, so much that he said, "Please take my name off it." He says, "Have your film, put it out, get all your money." He says, "But this has got absolutely nothing to do with the book that I wrote."
So this week we're talking about 1987's movie The Running Man, directed by Paul Michael Glaser, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Quick segue, Paul Michael Glaser, anyone know who that is?
Nope.
That's Starsky from Starsky and Hutch.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that.
Kind of little factoid, that one.
There you go. So The Running Man is based on a book directed by Richard Bachman, who we now all know is the pen name for Stephen King. The film bears very little resemblance to the book. Tell us what it's about.
Right, this is the synopsis. In a dystopian 2017, the United States has become a totalitarian police state where the most popular form of entertainment is a violent game show called The Running Man. The film follows Ben Richards, an innocent police officer framed for a massacre he refused to commit, who is forced to become a contestant on the show. He must survive against a series of flamboyant professional killers known as stalkers, all for the entertainment of a global television audience. As Richards fights for his life, he and a civilian ally expose the government's lies and the show's dark secrets, ultimately turning the game against its sadistic host, Damon Killian, and the corrupt establishment he represents.
Well done, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
I couldn't have read a synopsis better myself.
It was like he was standing in Blockbusters with the tape in his hand going, should I rent this?
Honestly, good times, Blockbusters. I used to work in Blockbusters for you lot in podcast land, and it was one of the best jobs I ever had. I love movies, and I love being able to have like so many at my fingertips at any one time. I got 10 free rentals a week, and that could be games as well.
That's where you met your wife?
That's where I met my wife. Second.
That goes second behind the 10 free rentals.
Hey, you can't go wrong with them 10 free rentals, like. But yeah, it was one of the best jobs I ever had. Yeah, I met my wife there, and yeah, so that made it interesting. It was just the two of us in there.
Those long, cold nights.
We've gone over the synopsis there, but let's go through it. So the movie starts. They start off in the helicopter. They have a bloody fight in the helicopter. Wait until he lands, for Christ's sake, right? And then they're in this prison colony where they've got these explosions around the necks. Now, I think, like, you're only about, 2-3 minutes into the movie now, and you've already had a fight in a helicopter. You're starting a prison break, and a good prison break, in my opinion. They're trying to basically deactivate this invisible line which sets off these collars. It's fast paced. You know exactly what's happening. You don't need a lot of exposition here. You've got a little bit of reading at the beginning when they talk about the dystopian future. But I think it leads up to, and every time I see it, I think, what a great bit of practical special effects. There's a bit where once this prison break is underway, they're trying desperately to get this invisible sort of barrier down to stop triggering these explosives. Some guy, Chico, I think his name is.
Yeah. It was.
It thinks that the barrier's down and he starts sprinting for the line, but it's not 100% down.
It's worth mentioning as well because the explosives they're trying to stop are actually collars around the neck, isn't it? So it's like it's
It reminded me of that Christopher Lambert film,
Fortress.
Fortress,
where they have the bombs put inside of them. I've been looking for that on. I don't think you get it on Blu-ray, but you can get it on DVD. I've been looking for it. So they've got the as Luke says, and Adam says, they've got these collars around the necks, which are going to pop. And as Chico's running away, it's a wide shot. He's triggered the collar and his head explodes. Now, obviously, this is back in the day before CGI and stuff like that. So that is a real man running, and it looks like his head literally explodes.
Do you know? I was watching that bit and I couldn't figure out how they did it.
Now I know how they did it. I'm going to tell you now. So basically, the actor who was doing that, or the stunt performer,
They killed him.
he's dead.
They blew his head off.
They literally had him running, bent over, and the top part of him is basically fake. So he's literally just running forward like that, as if he's about to. Do you know when you?
That's why it looked good, because it was real.
It was real. Do you know? I tell you what it was like. It must have been like. Do you know when you run, you start to run, but you just overlean a bit too far forward, and then you just fall. He must have been like that the whole time.
Yeah, because when I watched that, I was like, that looked really, really good. It was like,
do you know where it looked fake though? When it showed you everyone's reaction, and then it went back and it showed you the body on the floor, and the body just looked like a mannequin.
But that was still him, obviously with the fake top.
It didn't look right. And in the words of Jack Nicholson, he was lying funny.
He fell funny.
He fell funny.
That was a line from The Departed, by the way.
He fell funny.
He fell funny. But yeah, great bit of special, practical special effects. Anyway, they get the barrier down.
I'm sure.
And then
I'm sure that's what must have given it its 18, because there was nothing else really in the.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't. It wasn't really a particularly. There wasn't a lot of swearing. There wasn't a lot of violence.
There's just a pretty gruesome practical special effects at the beginning. There's some sexual threat in the movie as well by that Dynamo and that Amber lass, which obviously is a bit obviously quite threatening.
There was a conversation that the main protagonist's female lead had, Amber, where Ben Richards passes her and a colleague in the corridor of the
Yes, I know exactly what you're going to say.
And she has this conversation where she's going, "Oh look, he could overpower me. Oh, and maybe he would do this and all that." And I was thinking, "Oh my God, that's like I don't know how the best way to describe it."
They talk about what he could do to her.
Yeah,
just the way she says it, it's not like it's.
Like she's fantasizing about that,
exactly,
about what he might do to her, the other character, and it's like it's not nice to listen to.
Because that's one of the things, though, isn't it? Because the Running Man, the TV show that they host, they're always the people that make the TV show. They always want something for the fans, and they're always looking for someone the bigger, the burlier, the most handsome sort of person to put on the Running Man track, isn't it? Because that's kind of what has been implied by the guy who runs the show.
Yeah, the like the modern gladiators. Aren't
you say that. So do you remember the show, The American Gladiators, which obviously spawned loads of other gladiator shows? There's a story, I don't know if it's 100% true, that the producers of that show went to I don't know, whatever they do when they coming up with show ideas. They went to the producers or something like this. We're going to make this show, and the show The Running Man, and it says we're going to make this show but without the killing. And apparently they came up with American Gladiators.
It's good,
When I was watching this, I thought, oh my God, how many little things can be added in by what Arnold Schwarzenegger says about all of his other films, like "I'll be back."
You mean his taglines? Yeah.
There's loads of taglines. There's loads of
catchphrases.
Yeah,
he's got his main catchphrase in there at one point, which is "I'll be back," but he's got loads of others which he uses in regards to obviously killing the other characters and stuff like that. But we'll come to them.
I did like when he went, "I'll be back," and only in a rerun.
Only in a rerun, yeah. So they're getting out of prison. There's 3 of them now. There's so they've got Richards, which is Schwarzenegger's character, and then you've got Weiss and Laughlin. Kind of are about to go their separate ways. You learn from their interactions that Weiss and Laughlin are part of like a resistance movement headed by Mick Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, he was all right, actually.
And he was called Mick.
And I'll keep it simple for Christ's sake. But yeah, they get the collars taken off. And I think at that point, Richards is like, I'm out of here. And Weiss and Laughlin said, why don't you come and help us? And he wants no part of it. He just wants to get away. Richards, at that point, he goes looking for his brother. And when he gets his brother's apartment, he realised his brother's been probably, vanished by the.
Oh, he gets taken away for rehabilitation or something, doesn't he?
Something like that. Yeah.
Re-education, yeah. But did anybody ever find out what the re-education part was? Because I'm forgetting about.
It'll probably tell you in the book.
They don't allude to it much in the movie. Basically, you can put it together in your own head that he's been taken to some holding cell where he's going to be tortured and have propaganda played into his eyes and music played loud to him all night until he decides to conform.
Yeah, that's obviously the reason they took him for education, because he was failing to integrate.
He was the brother of Ben Richards.
Yeah.
And then
we'll get your family.
Yeah.
Or they wanted to take that link away.
No, she said she moved in like a month.
Well, that's all right. But that apartment used to be Richard's brother's. Right. So she's moved in. So he goes to this apartment and finds her. And then makes a plan to get out of the country by using her travel pass or something like that.
It's important to point out, when he finds her, she's exercising in lingerie because it's the 80s.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of 80s lingerie
because this was made in the 1980s. So naturally she's exercising in lingerie.
Well, you don't want to get sweaty in your work clothes, do you? So yeah, they butt heads immediately. And then he makes a plan to get out of the country.
Obviously, she's under the impression that he is the butcher. Is that right?
The Butcher of Bakersfield.
The Butcher of Bakersfield, because he's escaped. He's on the run. But now they're looking for the running man. So they basically that makes no sense at all. But
poetry, how you work that in there. Amber and Richards are now in a bit of a combative relationship with each other, basically. She believes what she's been told in the media, that he's a violent criminal who's escaped from captivity, and he is now basically kidnapped her with the goal of using her to escape the country.
Yeah.
So they make some travel plans using her, I suppose, her credentials. And they go to the airport. And at the airport, this is where it goes tits up for Richards, basically. Mm-hmm. She makes a scene, alerts people that he is who he is, and then a bit of a chase sequence starts, which leads to him getting captured. At this point, we haven't really been introduced to anyone from the Running Man TV show in the film. But once he's captured, we then sort of segue into that sort of that world.
Yeah.
We're introduced to Killian.
Yeah, I think he's the best character in the film.
Well, he was a game show host in real life as well.
Was he?
Yeah.
That explains why he's perfect for it.
He used to
Family Fortunes or something like that.
Well, it's Family Fortunes in this country. It's called Family Feud in America.
Oh, that's right.
See, did you know they make a remake of this? They've cast Josh Brolin in that part, and I think he's completely miscast.
Now
it should have been Dale Winton.
No, I think I would have had. Do you know Richard Kind, the bloke who does the voice of Bing Bong, and out of Inside Out?
Oh yeah,
I would have had him.
Somebody fluffy.
Yeah, somebody who appears to be
benign,
really nice and kind. Mm-hmm. But if you've seen anything he's done, he can go like really dark and like evil.
Yeah, he's
an actor.
Yeah, he's got two sides.
So
to his
he can play what you call it, he can do that as well. But it was in cliffhanger. What was the body in cliffhanger called?
Lithgow, John Lithgow.
John Lithgow can do it as well, where John Lithgow can be all nice and kind and like dead funny and charming and everything. Then all of a sudden it's like flicking a switch and it's like, oh my God, he's psychotic.
He's a Trinity killer.
He's a Trinity killer.
Or he's the bad guy in Santa Claus.
Oh, he's the bad guy in Santa Claus the movie.
BG.
Aye. BG Toys.
I love that film.
I think in the book, the Killian character, as he is in the movie, is an amalgamation of two characters in the book.
Yeah.
But we'll probably get more information about that if you've read the book. But also, I think the new film that's going to come out is much more based on the book.
Is it?
Yeah, because in the book, they're not like...
I mean, there's not a lot of story to this film. I mean, you're basically like racing through it.
Well, that's it.
Because it happens so fast.
I've got the pace I've gone here is pretty much the pace of the movie.
I think at the beginning they do show you like this dystopian land of like you see the city and how everything's gone, and you kind of start to work out there's different factions between.
They allude to it at the beginning. There's an exposition page really where you've got to read where they talk about how there's been an economic collapse.
Yep. It gives you the full lowdown, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, that I suppose that just allows this movie to move at pace because it's actually just said it to you right at the beginning.
Yeah.
The world's gone to shit. The economy's gone to shit. We have to take people's mind off this by giving them some shit TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, and they do that in a really clever way because they show you the city, and the one thing that you see in the city shot is a huge billboard.
Huge TV.
It's a huge TV, and you're looking at a crowd of thousands of people all watching this TV.
I mean, the idea of the story in like broad strokes is like a great. You could like flush it out endlessly.
Yeah,
like you could do a TV series on this and like really explore like all different aspects of it because the actual core idea is it's a great idea for a story, but the film itself doesn't touch on 90% of it of what the way it could go.
That's why Stephen King went, please take my name off this.
This is just an action movie, really.
Yeah,
it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie from the 1980s. That's what it is.
It wasn't originally going to be. There was like three previous actors that were lined up to do this before they settled on on Schwarzenegger. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's an 80s movie in the way it's done. It's fast paced. It's simple to follow. It's not really trying to be like a complicated movie. Mm-hmm. It's just the world's gone to shit. Mm. He's an antagonist and a protagonist. He's the situation. Go for it.
Yeah,
and that's all you get. But that's all you need because it works really well.
It's really good because there are simple cut scenes. This is why I think you're saying like exactly it runs really quick, but the scenes are really deadly simple cut together because it's a case of right, okay, we're gonna deal with a TV show. We're gonna give a backstory to that. Then you're back to the main character, and then you're back into his world for a very short scene.
But this is why it's as fast paced as it is. There's not a lot of story beats going on.
Yeah.
We know there's Ben Richards' character and his posse, and we know there's the running man's side, the running man's show people like Damon Killian and his posse. And it's just waiting for them two to come head to head at the end.
I mean, it's just all action, really. And in terms of locations, there's very little in locations. Obviously, this probably was filmed on some sort of industrial estate, like 90% of it. And then, in fact, even the outside shots where they show people betting on who's going to die and everything. I mean, that's probably shot on the exact same location, and they've just got like a giant matte painting thing, and that's
a really good point because when you mention about the fact that they're betting and all the rest of it, that's kind of what the story makes you want to think about yourself because you're kind of looking at it going, well, I hope he's going to win because otherwise, I hope he's going to get to the end. I hope he's going to, because he's a nice guy.
Everybody wants Arnold Schwarzenegger to win.
I mean, everybody.
The locations, when you think about it, there's, I dare say, the prison location and the location that's used for the arena for the Running Man are the same location, just one shot in day, one shot at night. And then you've got the aerial shot at the beginning where they're in the helicopter.
Well, the aerial shot, the helicopters at the beginning, were not even filmed for this film. There's an 80s King Kong movie, and those three helicopters that come in are directly cut from that movie.
Right. So then you've got So there's only that, and then there's the apartment the lass lives in, and then there's a TV studio, and that's it.
Yeah.
In terms of 90% of the movie, it must have been really cheap to make.
And
Because the big expense of that movie will have been that either the match shot from the helicopters or the head exploding.
Or Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, yeah. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, like 90% of the budget probably went on Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well, yeah, it does look like they have cut a lot of corners in places where, because they had the big wide shot of the city with the big TV composited on top of it. So they've decided to go with matte paintings and things like that and shooting on a quarry for the prison. But they seem to have got a lot of income from product placement and logos. So if you look, there's in the apartment, there's like a huge Yamaha keyboard with Yamaha writ large on the back, like a musical keyboard.
Yeah. I'm a composer. Just like
No, that was Amber's job, wasn't it? She was a jingle writer for the network.
Yeah, but she wasn't a jingle writer until Yamaha said, "Have got any product placements?"
Yeah. We can totally make her a jingle writer. And then Coca-Cola, where they stood by the vending machine. And then on Ben Richards' outfit, he's got the Adidas 3-leaf logo on his arm. They must have been getting loads of money in, and that must have just been going straight to Arnie.
Yeah, possibly.
So,
One of my notes.
Killian. That's where we're up to.
So back to it, yeah. So Ben Richards has been caught, and then we move over to Killian, and they're showing you kind of the behind the scenes of the Running Man, and they're talking about who's their next contestant going to be. And Killian sees a news broadcast, and he sees Ben Richards on the telly, and says, "I want him." And they're like, "You can't have him. He's like a military prisoner. You can't have that. That's our deal with the network. I don't want him. I don't care. I'm having him." Anyway, he manages to get him. They bring him onto the show, and they bring him into the studio, and they do this like it's almost like they're prepping him, so they're putting like trackers in him and stuff like that, and they do this like probably about a 30-second medical procedure compilation,
which looks pretty brutal.
Which looks brutal and painful. They're putting these blocks in his mouth so he can't swallow his own tongue.
Well, did you notice the stuff that they put in called barium IV? And I don't know if it's a Roman numeral, it's like barium 4 and it's just like a made up thing. But if a barium IV, if you put barium into a human being through their veins, they'd die. They would just die. It's the equivalent of putting milk of magnesia into your veins.
Ouch.
But supposedly this barium stuff, because I had to Google it to see.
It'd be like some kind of tracking thing, is it?
Yeah, it was to track them when they were in the Running Man arena. So that's how they've kept tabs on where the runners were.
So he gets prepared for the show. They knock him out, and then he's taken to the show goes live. Who do you love and who loves you?
Talking about quotable things in that. So you've got who do you love and who loves you, and it's time to start running. And there was a really well-known 90s rave track, and they sampled pretty much all of that. It's a fantastic track. If anyone wants to listen to it, it's called Temple of Dreams by Messiah. And Killian's got some other quotable moments. He's talking to his security guard. He goes, "What's the matter? Steroids make you deaf." And there was another one that you were talking about. The he's getting prepped for coming on the show. And this guy runs up to him and he goes, "I'm your court-appointed theatrical agent."
Yeah, I thought that was genius.
And then the bit where he gets him to sign on his back,
stabs him in the back
with a pen, and he kind of the look of absolute horror on his face because he can't get his pen out of his scapula.
There's some great little details in the film. It's like when Killian's order, because I'm no doubt that actor, if he was a game show host, would have said, "This is the type of people you need in the audience," and they're all little old days.
Yeah,
it's just perfect because it rings so true. It's just like these are the type of people that would be in the audience.
Do you know what it used to remind me of? You remember the show The Price is Right? Whenever a name used to get called up and they'd all bounce down the stairs. That's exactly what it reminded me of when I was watching them.
But it's great because you get to know how empathetic the showman is when he walks into the building and he's like, gets into the lift, and all of a sudden he's like, "Who is that man mopping the floor?" And he goes, "If he's not, what was it? If he's not there,
if he's here tomorrow, you're mopping the floor next week."
He's a showman, isn't he? So he's always got that face on for the public, but behind the scenes, he's a dickhead.
Yeah.
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 He's a prima donna, basically. So they rush Ben through they're getting him ready for the show. They introduce him. They strip off his clothes and show his new Adidas running suit.
Yep.
And then as he's about to go into the arena, they reveal that not only have they caught him, but they've also caught the two others that he escaped with, Laughlin and Weiss. And they're going to go into the arena with him.
But you're forgetting one thing, because they blew up how bad of a human being he was by showcasing and doctoring a load of footage before that. To say that why he was in there, because they couldn't just have a normal running man in. They had to have the Butcher of Bakersfield in, which was a really
well, they've done all this already, haven't they? Because they've already had him in prison for it. They've already been saturating the news with the stuff that he supposedly did when he was on the run.
And I thought it was really clever as well, because when you think about it, you're watching all these little old dears change their mind about what they think about this person. But this goes and obviously reflects of things that are happening today with AI and digital technology, and how, like, you know,
changing the narrative
to suit whoever is in power, to keep the power, essentially,
to keep people in places.
Yep. And I thought it's the fact that this has recently just dropped onto Netflix in the current climate of things is quite a poignant thing. And I don't think it's by...
I think it's dropped onto Netflix simply for the fact that there's a new one coming out and they're trying to cash in on it, basically.
Yeah. It's very well observed, that, though, Adam. Yes.
Capitalism.
Yep. Well, it pulls on a lot of threads that can probably be relatable to today's...
If you look at loads of Schwarzenegger movies, right, he did AI before AI was a thing. With Terminator and stuff like this. He's doing, like, changing the narrative with the running man. It's... All this stuff has been...
I know, but he never ever wanted to do Terminator. He just said...
Well, he wanted to be Kyle Reese.
Yeah, he wanted to be Kyle Reese, and he basically turned around and said, no. He apparently had an ambition to tell the guys exactly what the Terminator should be like, and they went, well, hang on, you seem to have this down quite well as a character, what should be. Just give him the role. But originally he didn't want it, because he went, I've gone from either 170 odd lines on my last film, and I've gone down to like 13 lines or something in this new Terminator film.
Well, to be honest,
I'm going back over.
He wasn't even James Cameron's idea of what the Terminator should be. So I know we're moving away from the running man but do you know, in the Terminator movie there is a character who is... He works in the police station. He plays Bishop in Aliens, the android.
Yeah.
But he's also in Terminator, as like one of the police detectives.
Yeah. He
was originally envisioned to be the Terminator because he just looks like anyone. The Terminator, if you're going to send an infiltration unit, he shouldn't look like a massive, huge, muscular
tank of a
Austrian.
This is obviously why they changed the character completely for Terminator 2 for the liquid metal one. What's it called? What's that actor called?
Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
His brother was in 9 Inch Nails.
Really?
Coming back, yeah. Circling back on 9 Inch Nails, yeah. He was like a guitarist, I think.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
So they've changed the narrative. They've changed, obviously, Ben Richards' story to make him the villain.
So the broadcast the video.
They've obviously been doing this for however long he's been in prison, as well as how long he is before during the escape and having the show. But they really hammer it home now in some, a glitzy montage of his evil, And at that point they go, but you shouldn't do this on your own. You should have your friends. And then they introduce Laughlin and Wise, who they've also captured, who Ben thinks who's escaped, but they obviously haven't. And then they get launched into the game arena and they go down what looks like the funnest slide I've seen in a movie.
Yeah, they're like toboggan in a tunnel.
It's like Cool Runnings with an afterburner. They're flying around these tunnels and their faces are pulled back, and then they get shot into this arena where it looks like it's a bunch of Mad Max people waiting for them to sort of push them into this arena of death.
What was the stalker in Iceland called?
Subzero.
Sorry,
Professor Subzero.
Yes, he was. Yeah. He was Professor Subzero. What made him a professor? Nobody really knows.
Well, because the actor in real life was a wrestler, and his wrestling name was Professor. I can't remember.
Tanaka or something.
Yeah, but they kept Professor for the just because he was a professor in the ring. He's not really a professor.
When I was looking at IMDb of what all the other actors were in last night, there are loads and loads of actors who've been in the same films with Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I have a feeling that a lot of these people are actually friends.
Yeah.
And they're all bodybuilders, like all the big guys.
Well, the steroids, the bodyguard steroids guy, he's been in loads of Schwarzenegger's movies.
Yeah.
Well, see,
Jesse Ventura was in Predator.
Yeah.
that's the biggest fake out in the entire movie. That Killian's bodyguard.
Yeah.
You keep thinking
It's going to be a mint fight here.
he's gonna go in the arena. He's going to send him into the arena. He's definitely going to go to the arena and just doesn't go to the arena because he's so huge.
Yeah.
Just like, oh, he's definitely going to go in. He's definitely going to have a fight with Schwarzenegger. Didn't happen. But anyway, when they go to the arena, within about 30 seconds of them being in the arena, Laughlin goes, "Hey, look at that!" That's the answer to the resistances, all the resistance problems. That's why we can't find where the signal's coming from, because it's coming from within the arena.
Yeah, so there's a bit of a sub-story that's alluded to at the beginning, that they're trying to stop the broadcast that the network is putting out, because it's basically all just propaganda designed to brainwash people into becoming these idiots who like to watch people being killed on TV. And they don't know where the signal's being broadcasted from. But yeah, within 30 seconds, they see this bloody satellite dish, and it's pointed not up, it's pointed down. And they're like, "Oh, I've got it." And they've solved the whole bloody thing. End of the movie.
They go there, find his number,
Yeah.
and then lo and behold, the resistance is in the arena,
Yes, they are.
but no one bothered to go outside.
Anyway, we've got a head.
Yeah.
So we've got a head of facility. So they've got to the arena and they get ushered into the first game zone, which is basically Subzero's game zone, which is basically
Ice rink.
an ice rink, a hockey rink with barbed wire, razor wire, and a hockey stick, which is basically just a big cleaver.
Lasts about 10 minutes.
And the pucks are explosives.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the pucks. So at this point, the entire crowd all wanting to see the running man die. How is he going to die? Because Sub-Zero is going to kill him. And it doesn't really turn out that way.
It doesn't indeed. They get the better of Sub-Zero. No longer Sub-Zero, now plain Zero. One of the worst lines in the movie.
They needed a line for that, you could tell.
Yeah, so they managed to sort of, they're evading Sub-Zero. He's put one of them in the net. So Weiss is in the net now, so it's only Laughlin and Richards left. And then I think Richards managed to pull some of the razor wire off, and Sub-Zero gets caught up in it, and he gets it wrapped around his neck, and he managed to like cut his throat, and he bleeds out in the ice. And they're all very happy, and they're all high-fiving each other that they've killed this fella. He was going to kill them, so why not?
But the crowd still goes wild in the background because...
But they're subdued a bit because they've lost one of their stalkers, one of the heroes.
Yeah, because the
I mean,
crowd...
imagine losing a wolf from Gladiators, Christ.
I know, but the crowd never lose out because there's always another man to stand behind. And who is the next man that comes up?
Or who's the next two men who come up?
Oh, yeah, who's the next two men?
So they get an old biddy out the audience to choose the next stalkers. And she just can't. She can't decide whether she wants Dynamo or Buzzsaw. Well, why choose? Let's have them both. So you get this redneck with a chainsaw.
He looks terrifying, him.
With his eyes.
Aye,
He's got like little contact lenses in and makes him look like manic.
He looked unhinged.
Yeah, there's some roids there, like. But and then you have Dynamo, who's a real life opera singer, who they dress up like a Christmas tree.
What else is he in?
Down in the valley, the valley so low. He was in Stir Crazy.
Yeah. I haven't seen that movie in
Grossberger.
years.
Grossberger, the biggest mass murderer that ever lived.
Do you know no one's actually gone down and sat and talked to that man?
Hello.
Do you know what the shame about that actor was? Is that it was when he filmed this, he died not long after it. And he died 2 months before they released.
on the day after his first wedding anniversary.
Oh,
Terrible.
he was only 34, I think.
No, he's only young. I thought he was much older than that.
He was a big fella though, wasn't he? I mean, when you look at...
He was massive.
He's Grossberger.
But still, knee age.
No.
Anyway, so Buzzsaw comes in the arena and Dynamo come in the arena. I think they encounter Buzzsaw first, and he's on a motorbike with a chainsaw. So he's like swinging this chainsaw around while driving this motorbike, and he's dragging Richards around on a bit of rope behind the chainsaw. And at this point, while this battle between Buzzsaw, Laughlin, and Richards is happening, Weiss is off, and he finds sub center for this broadcast.
Yeah,
that's coming from inside the arena, and he just happens to open up a machine and then find this weird hexadecimal code that he can just remember off the top of his head. Or he tells to Amber because she's got a photographic memory, you know. And while that's all happening, Laughlin gets his guts chopped up by Buzzsaw, and so he bleeds out and dies, unfortunately. And Richards manages to eunuchize. Eunuchize? Is that a word?
Gelding.
Manages to turn that chainsaw on Buzzsaw and go right up through his nethers.
Straight down Main Street.
Straight down Main Street. And so that kicks off. And while this is kicking off, Weiss is getting the code with Amber and relaying the code to Amber. And while he's getting the code for Amber, Dynamo comes along with the overpowered tasers and electrocutes him to death. Like that, he's just done. So within one sort of big action sort of set piece here, we've lost two of the main characters. And one thing we totally forgot to tell, I've mentioned Amber a few times there. Amber, who was the woman that Richard was living in Richard's brother's apartment, who he kidnapped to go to the airport with and got him captured. While all this has happened and while they've been in the arena, they started playing news broadcasts about what happened at the airport, and they made a load of crap up. They basically said that Richards had killed security guards and all this kind of stuff, and Amber was there and she knew that didn't happen. So she starts thinking to herself, oh, maybe there's something wrong here. So she works for the network, so she starts going through the archives of the recordings and see what they've got. She finds the video broadcast for the news about the Bakersfield massacre. And then right behind that recording is another recording that says unedited footage of the Bakersfield massacre, which basically shows that all this crap about Ben Richards is false and that he didn't commit the massacre and it was all blah, blah, blah. But she gets caught while trying to get that information, and she's being thrust into the arena while all this is happening.
Yeah, you don't find out who put the hand on her shoulder, do you?
No.
No, it's just it.
It's just she's being caught by someone.
Yeah.
But bear in mind, she secretes the video footage upon her person. So when she got caught,
she hid it somewhere.
They didn't find anything on her. She was just in a room.
But they still threw her into the arena. We'll come back to where she hid that later.
Well, I mean, where'd you hide it, in a leotard? I don't know.
The question is, you don't. But anyway, she, and this goes back to what you said earlier on, Adam, about how they changed the narrative. So at this point, no one knew who Amber was, but they catch her trying to get this unedited footage, and they're going to put her into the arena as well. So halfway through the show, they say, we're gonna add another contestant, another runner, and they show a video about Amber, how about she is Richard's longtime girlfriend, his confidant, his lover, and how she is basically just as bad as him. So they've changed the narrative, you said, what you talked about earlier, and then they thrust her into the arena. So we're about 2 minutes in the movie now, because I swear this movie whizzes along. Yeah. I love it. I think there's no time for you to question anything while you're watching.
It's really entertaining.
Yeah, there's holes all over it, but it's proper fun when you're watching it. So anyway, let's whiz forward again. So Weiss is dead, Laughlin's dead, Amber's got the code, and now she's been set upon by Dynamo. Arnold Schwarzenegger runs in and goes, "Hey, Christmas tree!" and gets his attention. He gets into his little go-kart, and by not getting hit by a go-kart, he then crashes his own go-kart and basically puts himself out of the game.
His only flex was essentially electrocuting people by all accounts, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really,
or maybe running them down with these.
It was a milk float with lights.
A milk float with lights. Anyway, so he's been incapacitated, but he's not dead. And at this point, you start seeing the shift in the crowd, because at that point, Richards has the opportunity to kill him and get him out of the game. And even the audience in the studio, who are meant to cheer for the stalkers, starts shouting, "Kill him!" You can see they're actually starting to shift their loyalties. They're starting to like Richards, and instead of murdering him, he decides to spare him, showing his character to the crowd, which probably make them like him even more. At that point, they're picked up by the resistance in the arena.
Well, is this? I can't remember what happens now. Actually, this might be? Did they get picked up? Did they not? There's not in the stalk added beforehand.
You're right. Fireball.
Fireball goes in now.
Before we start talking about Fireball, can I just give a special shout out to the hairdresser who put these highlights in?
Oh, it's a wonderful, isn't it? These little grey highlights.
It's on both sides. It's the most 80s thing I've ever seen. I'm sure I've seen cartoons before where characters have got like that kind of hairdo, and I'm thinking, no one's ever had that in real life. But there he is, Fireball, with these white highlights going down like a badger. It looks amazing.
So anyway, Fireball goes in.
Fireball floats in.
And
His jetpack.
And with his jetpack.
tries to set them on fire.
He does. He's got this thing called a flamethrower. I wonder why they call him Fireball. But anyway, so he's chasing these, and I think Richards and Amber get separated at that point. And at that point, Amber finds some dead bodies, and she realises that they're the bodies of previous contestants who
One last season.
won last season. So earlier on in the movie, it indicates that on a previous season of this show, there were 3 big winners who are living in luxury now. They've had their pardons and all this kind of stuff, and are living on some tropical island somewhere. But she finds the bodies of these 3 people, and at that point, she realizes that not only have they been making stuff up about Richards, and they've made stuff about her.
Nobody gets out alive.
Nobody gets out alive, but everything that they're being shown on telly is just propagandist bullshit. Hence the resistance went to try and break the broadcast for. At that point, she's set upon by Fireball, but obviously Richards comes along and puts a stop to that pretty quick.
Pulls out the fuel line.
Pours a flare at him. He goes up in a fireball.
What I like about it though, as he's about to be killed, and he's got his fuel line pulled out, and his fuel is spraying all over the place. He's shouting, "Go to commercial! Go to commercial!"
Well, it's in, because that happens in it looks like a locker room or something. That just happens, isn't it?
It's somewhere in the arena, but it looks like a locker room.
It's where the 3 bodies are.
Yeah.
So when he dies, that's when they get picked up by the resistance.
Exactly. So who have like a secret location in the arena. Obviously, they can't show themselves because if they come out, they'll be seen. But they managed to get Amber and Richards into their like inside headquarters. And at this point, we're going back to Adam here when he talked about videos being manipulated by AI. They bring a retired stalker out of retirement. It's played by Jessica Ventura. Was it Mr. Incredible or something like that? I can't remember the name.
Yeah.
And they make up a video of him fighting Richards and him killing Richards, but they air it. And at that point...
And Amber as well.
And Amber, that's right. So in this video that has been AI generated, Richards and Amber are now dead, not in real life, but they've displayed it on the network. So that's what everyone thinks has happened. So now they've under no circumstances can Richards and Amber ever be allowed to leave here alive. So they have to start fighting, basically. So they know they got the code for the broadcast.
Oh yeah, then Mick Fleetwood says, "I'm going to go on air and then explain everything." And the last says, wait, don't do that. I've got something much better. And then she pulls the tape out of her prison purse and then gives it to Mick Fleetwood and goes, "Hey, you play this."
And it shows the unedited footage of the Bakersfield massacre, which would exonerate Richard's character.
But to be fair, when you say unedited, they had cuts between.
It's very 80s edited, yes.
Yeah, it's very much
like I just happen to have multiple camera angles here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they now have to take the fight to the network. So they've got the code, they've got the tape, they've got to get to the broadcasting office, so that they can
Broadcast the
they're
tape.
going to broadcast this tape. Begin gun battle.
Can I just mention something that I observed? There's a part where they've got to get the tape to the control room.
Wait.
And-
Is this the Scrooged bit?
Right, yeah.
Scrooge ripped this off them.
Oh yeah, I looked.
So did I.
Yeah. I was like, what year did they do this? So in Scrooged, there was a part where
He kicks open the door to the control room and goes, "Don't touch that dial."
and that's exactly what happens in this film as well. But this film did it first, and I tried to see if the Running Man had ripped it off anything, but they hadn't. So they had actually done this first, and Scrooge ripped this off
Like a year later.
a year later. Yeah, I'm glad we both thought the same thing, because as soon as he kicked down the door, and that's Dweezil Zappa. That's
Well, it's the same camera shot, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's exact. It's
Frank
a,
Zappa's son, yeah.
It's a total rip-off.
it's Frank Zappa's son who kicks the door down. Don't touch that dial. Doesn't say it in that voice. He says it in Dweezil Zappa's voice. But you've got Mick Fleetwood and Frank Zappa's son, and I think that is supposed to be Mick Fleetwood, because in the beginning he talks about how the state, he went, they took away all my songs. Like, so he is a musician. He is Mick Fleetwood playing a musician in a dystopian future, and he's being made to look older than he is. So this is to infer that it's somewhere down the line.
And I think it was made to look older just because otherwise he'd be recognisable as Mick Fleetwood. And
Well, I don't know, like, David, if they wanted to make him unrecognisable, they should have called him something other than Mick in the film. You went, is that Mick Fleetwood? Well, they're calling him Mick, and he looks like him, and he's talking about how they took his music away.
Do you know it was Frank Zappa's son? It's called Stevie in the movie as well.
Is he?
Yeah, the character name is Stevie.
Oh, right. As in Stevie Nicks.
So, well, obviously.
But anyway, yeah, so they break in and they get the tape into the control room.
Yeah, and they're obviously, don't change that dial. And then obviously a big gun battle happens, and then everyone's being shot. Everyone's being shot who's worth being shot. And then you have a little bit final confrontation between Killian and Richards and the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the bodyguard.
And Killian's bodyguard. So they're having a bit of to and fro, and then Killian's bodyguard comes up and he's stood there, and you think, right, we're going to have a right punch up now. We've got two big fellas about to go toe to toe with each other. But Killian's bodyguard, it's just a soft spoken, gentle mountain of a man, and he's been hurt by Killian's constant berating.
About his steroid use.
And he says, well, get him. And he goes, steroids make me deaf. And then he walks away. And then
It's a good line, though.
and then Richards picks up Killian, slams him in that chair, ready to go down the world's best rocket propelled luge, and sets him on his way.
They broadcast the video, and that's the end. That's the end of the film.
That's in front. Killian flies down this thing. They've obviously took the net away to catch him because for reasons.
Forward planning.
Reasons. Yeah. And then he just shoots out of there and goes straight into a billboard advertising Summit and explodes.
Well, before he launches them, you do get to see the pressure gauge, and
Schwarzenegger
cranks the pressure up on the thing.
Yeah.
Send them flying. And then at the end, Amber comes up to Richards. They have a bit of a smooch, and then they walk off at the distance, and he walks with his hand
around her neck,
like he did when he was taking her through the airport and said, "I could snap your neck like a chicken's." So there's a lot of sexual violence going on in this film, and that's why I think it's why it's got an 18, because there's some dodgy stuff going on around all that.
Well, one of the parts that we've failed to talk about is when Dynamo, who's not dead, he's walking about the corridor
with his trousers off.
With his trousers.
His trousers were on, right? And then literally it cuts, and then he's down his underpants. And I was like, so I think that must have been the longest scene, right? And they've just went, well, that's just a bit too much.
Because obviously we understand what he's planning to do.
What his intention was.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she didn't she run underneath she goes underneath his legs and hits him.
Something like that. Calls him Dickless or something like that.
And he says,
I think that's-
I'll show you how.
I'll show you how dickless I am, or something like that. And obviously something bad's going to happen here, but then she gets the best of him. And
Or
in this film.
she chucks water on, doesn't she? Doesn't
No,
he?
no, I think water falls from
no,
somewhere.
something about the. I think she sets the sprinklers off or something like that.
Oh, it was
it
it was the sprinklers.
electrocutes him.
Yeah, she shot the gun that she got and it hit the sprinkler, and then what happened was
Oh, right, that was it. Aye.
And then because he's got a battery pack up his arse, he goes up in a blue flash, doesn't he?
So that was
that was it?
That was the Running Man.
I really like this movie, even though it is. You can objectively look at it now and say there's holes all over this movie, and obviously it's nothing like the book, apart from it's in a dystopian future, blah blah blah. There's not much really similar with the book, but I love this film. I think
do you know what it is? This is a classic 80s movie because in the 80s, movies were all about you're going to go to the cinema and you're going to have a good time, and you're going to there to be entertained, which is like a lot of cinema now is just totally forgot. The whole purpose for people going to cinema is for them to have a good time and to be entertained. And now what they don't want to do is they could just go, we're not going to bother with any story. We're just going to have mad CGI.
Spectacle.
And it's all about the spectacle, and like you're supposed to be like awestruck. They've been trying to do this awestruck thing since The Matrix and sort of Avatar, where at least The Matrix, although The Matrix had really good special effects, it had a really good story behind it. Whereas something like the Avatar, which was just total spectacle, and the story was very weak sauce.
I totally agree. Don't get us wrong. I can enjoy watching the Avatar movies because they are a spectacle. But I understand that they're thin on story. It's very simple. It's Fern Gully.
Fern Gully with blue people.
But I can still enjoy the spectacle of that. I wouldn't say I could watch The Running Man once a year easy. I think I'd struggle watching things like the Avatar movies once a year. But yeah, you're totally right. The 80s were just like a golden 80s and 90s, in my opinion, and where the films peaked. You could, because back in the 80s, when you wanted to make a big action piece, you had to actually do the action practical. You can see it actually happening, and they got really good at it. That practical head explode at the beginning, fantastic. That you wouldn't know that wasn't a real person. It looked that good.
Yeah.
And then you look at other Schwarzenegger movies like Total Recall, which you watched the other night. The practical effects in that, the puppetry and all that kind of stuff, off the fucking chain. That stuff you can't believe how good practical effects were back then. Then you're right. I mean, you started in the early 90s with CGI things like Jurassic Park,
The Mummy.
Jurassic Park though. That was that brought in animatronics and CGI and melded them so well. That still looks great today.
But that did.
Blummin' Terminator 2, was it 1991? That's some of that. That liquid metal man looks amazing today. When he's walking through them bars, when he's coming out that checkered floor.
Oh, one of the best. One of the best.
Unbelievable.
See, this is the thing. The film companies now are not interested in the quality of the CGI. They just want. They've basically got a Gantt chart of shots that need to be completed, and they want them all. They want every shot completed on time and on budget, and they don't care what they look like. Because when you look at something like, what was that Schwarzenegger film where he was sitting on the canopy of the How You Jumped Jet?
True Lies.
True Lies, yeah.
That looked absolutely jaw-droppingly good. It was so good. And that was done in the 90s.
James Cameron, that wasn't it?
James Cameron, yeah.
The Mummy, the special effects in The Mummy, I remember watching that at the time going, this is just amazing. And those shots still look just as good as stuff that they're doing now.
When you look at like the CGI technology that was used, it would have been a handful of people that could have really pulled some of those shots off.
David's right in what he's saying, though. When it comes to CGI technology, it's not necessarily the fact that we know the technology back then was nowhere near as good as it is today. But back then, they were given the time to do the job right.
Yeah.
Now they're rushed out of the frigging door. There's some shots in Marvel movies nowadays. They're talking about like $300-400 million movies where you can visually see that they've rushed that fucker. I mean, the whole last battle section in the Black Panther movie, where Killmonger's fighting Black Panther.
Do you know what it's down to? I know exactly
Disaster.
I know exactly what it's down to. There's been like a pricing structure for a certain type of shot that was in like the early 2000s. So if you look at something like Lost in Space, the one with Joey out of Friends.
Yeah, 1998?
something like that. That had a particle explosion in it, and at the time it was the largest CGI particle
Where the
explosion.
long ship explodes.
Right? That was that shot took 7 months to render. So that shot at the time will have cost an absolute fortune because it took 6 or 7 months to render. And the CGI companies will be charging the same price for something that takes 6 hours to render as what previously took 6 months to render, because they go, well, it's the same thing. We've created the same end product. So now the film companies going, we need this CGI shot, we need that CGI shot, we need this CGI shot, and they're being charged a fortune. So a lot of these CGI shots now aren't even being done in America anymore because all the American companies want an absolute fortune. They're all getting done in like Czechoslovakia and stuff like that in Latvia, where they'll charge like 1/10 the price. But even they are charging well and above what they should be charging.
I'm sure they're doing fine work, though.
So what was your good points and bad points, David?
The good point is there was just a thoroughly enjoyable entertainment film. On a negative side, I would have liked to have seen a bit of an outward story on how the true broadcast of the massacre changed the society. Because they just went, well, that was it. We've mission accomplished. Cut.
Well, it's a bit like the curtain, the veil falls, isn't it? And then,
well, you never got to see the veil fall. You never got to see the reaction really.
You saw of a few people in the audience. You get a few side-eye glances, but that's it.
Yeah,
That's all you get.
Because as I say, it could have all been fleshed out. You could have had the people rioting and then storming the capital city, or beating up the cops, or you could have had anything other than, well, that's the end of the film, folks.
what about you?
Come back to me.
Okay.
What about you? I would have to say good points and, well, the good and the bad, sort of looking at it. I think the set design was something that I would suggest was really good for the time. But then you've got to think it was only wherever they did like wide shots, there was a lot of thought into how everything was going to look and what dystopia was. So you saw a lot of stuff in there that was sort of like dark and eerie, and they tried to add modern futuristic elements into a lot of the shots that they did. And I think that was probably a good thing from the film. And I really did like the fact that it was a fast pace as well, because let's face it, some of the dialogue was pretty atrocious in some areas, and you thought, well, and I think that's probably the only sort of bad thing I could say. And I think David's right. I think when you look at the ending scene as well, it's you kind of wonder what would have happened after at the end, but there's a lot of what ifs towards the end about obviously how the relationships, what happened to his brother, things like that.
I don't mind not knowing those things. I don't mind a little of ambiguity at the end of a movie. I think because it just leaves it to my own imagination. Then sometimes it's the same things like what we talked about last week with Interstellar. You don't know if he makes it. It's what happens to the spinning top at the end of Inception. You don't really know. We think we 100% know, but it's up to us at the end of the day, and I like that.
But the thing with stuff like that is you can definitely tell that's left to your imagination, whereas this seems as if it was left open in interpretation of there'll be a second movie. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that could be it, or maybe it's not alluded to in the book. Who knows? I've never actually read the book, but I know it's a lot different. But anyway, I think my best, I'm going to keep this pretty succinct to shots, really. One of my favourite parts of the movie is a bit where he's chased down at the airport. When he goes from, when he gets outed and he's running across the tarmac and the van's chasing him, and at one point, and then they shoot this net gun at him, and they do it a little slow motion. I love that shot of that net gun coming at him. And then he gets caught up in the net and he rolls. And you can tell Arnold Schwarzenegger tried to do some of his own stunts there, because when he stops rolling, his elbows are fucked.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
He's like, oh, he's really hurt his elbows there. Well done, you've had a go.
He's going to get some proper 80s scabs on his elbows.
Exactly. His elbows are proper mangled at the end of it. Anyway, probably I'll go with Adam on this in regards to some of the dialogue is just so cheesy. For me, though, it is naff, but I don't think it takes away from the movie at all. I don't mind that certain things aren't cleared up at the end because I can make my own mind up. And I feel if you do start putting all that stuff in, you're going to turn a fast-paced, fun action movie into just a bit of a slog.
Just bloat.
Yeah.
It? Things that I liked the music by Harold Faltermeyer, the guy who did the Axel F.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Yeah. There was like a little motif running through the film. And that's like spattered through the film, and I haven't seen this film in like 20 years maybe, and that melody came to us one day, and I couldn't remember where it came from, and I had to like really sit and think where I'd heard this melody from, and I was like, oh, it's a bloody Running Man. I also like some of the quotable parts, like some of Killian's parts. I thought he was a really good character. Like I said, didn't really like all the weird violence towards women thing. Give us the ick.
I suppose it builds up that the despicableness of these people, though.
I didn't really like that. Oh, fun fact, Colin, who was on our last podcast about Jaws, he said this is one of his wife's favourite films.
It's my wife's favourite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
But apparently Paula Abdul did all the choreography for all this.
Yeah, it was before she got a name. She was a big choreographer before she sort of like became a front a front person herself.
I believe she also did all the choreography for Scrooged as well, for the solid gold dancers.
Yeah, I think she might have done actually. Yeah.
So Paul Abdul, I like that we've made this connection to Scrooged here more than once.
Yeah, it's probably she took the idea of, opening the booth and then, don't touch that dial.
Yeah, I saw we did this in our last film. You should totally do this in the new one. Maybe Paula Abdul has something to do with that connection.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think that's probably my good and bad.
Adam, marks out of 10?
Solid 7, I would say.
Luke?
6.
David?
I'll give it a 7.5.
I'm going to go full 8. That was The Running Man. I've enjoyed that. I do like this movie. But what are we going to do next?
Do we want to
do Spaceballs? There's a Spaceballs movie coming out, the sequel.
There is. See, I like these 80s movies. I like these cheesy 80s movies.
Rick Moranis. Oh, can't wait to see him in Spaceballs.
Weird science.
I think it would be good to do some of the...
48 Hours.
Eddie Murphy, Nick Nolte. I like the second one better. Another 48 Hours. Why do we... I tell you what, I feel like we've done... I know we've done like a couple of serious movies and stuff like that. Why do we try and choose something like something a bit more psychological? Something like a Silence of the Lambs or a Seven or a De Palma movie or something like that.
I love Seven.
7?
Do 7 if you want.
7?
It's a really good film.
You seen 7, Adam?
I think I might have seen it once, about 20 years ago.
I remember me and you saw it together for the first time in my house.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. So next time we're going to watch the 1995 movie 7, directed by David Fincher. So thanks for listening to this episode of the Four Takes Movie podcast. Please remember to like and subscribe wherever you listen. So I'm Martin.
I'm Adam.
I'm Luke.
And I'm David.
Thanks for listening. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
What's in the box?